De retour sur ce plateau avec notre invité, on poursuit justement nos échanges. Alors, Monsieur Mbunkur, pourquoi les banques commerciales sont-elles aujourd'hui réticentes à prêter aux petites et aux moyennes entreprises?
Yeah, I think there are many reasons that banks will not want to finance small and medium-sized enterprises. Firstly, I want to cite the case of asymmetry of information. Small businesses, it's difficult to have information of their past transactions, of their past records. It's so difficult. Most of them don't keep records, and when they have it, they don't have audited records. So it's difficult for the bank to trust these records, which is a significant tool in helping the banks make decisions to give them loans. Now, the second aspect is collateral.
Très bien.
Most small businesses cannot provide collateral for the money they are asking for. Banks will often ask for things like land title, and most of these small businesses don't have. And it makes it very difficult for the banks to give them loan. Thirdly, I want to talk about the transaction costs, the cost of processing loans, the cost of carrying out the due diligence to validate the information and give these small businesses loans is also a significant issue. It's the same cost to process a very big loan and the same cost to process a small loans. And banks will often prefer to process bigger loans because this gives them more interest. And so, because it's the same cost you spend, you better process a bigger loan with that amount. More so, most banking regulations, most banking guides make it difficult for the banks to deal with the current kind of small businesses we have because these are people's money. So the banks got to be prudent. The banks got to ensure that these people's money don't go away. So there are a lot of policies that make it difficult for them to work with small businesses.
Alors, selon vous, quels sont les principaux obstacles pour les PME? Le taux d'intérêt élevé, on en voit un peu partout, ou alors les exigences en matière de garantie?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, but I would think collateral. I would think collateral is a greater challenge. Yeah, because if interest rate is high, it means the cost of acquiring this capital is high, the cost of growth is high. But if these small businesses don't have collateral, then they are not even on the table because they don't have the money, they don't get to be able to expand, to grow, and they are not even sitting on the table to even discuss the interest rate. So I think, yes, interest rate is an issue, but collateral is a bigger issue.
Alors, en quoi le caractère informel, parce qu'on a beaucoup de petites et moyennes entreprises qui exercent dans l'informel, en quoi le caractère informel des PME affecte-t-il leur capacité à accéder au financement?
Firstly, without being formal, operating in the informal sector, you are already excluded from the financial market, from the banks. The banks you are not even part of it. They can't give you loan. So you see there's a chicken egg problem. Small businesses need to be registered, they need to be formal, they need to operate in the formal sector for the banks to be able to provide them with loans. And also they need money so that they can be formal, so that they can be registered. So it's a chicken egg problem, but small businesses got to find a way to be formal, without which you are already excluded. You can't be part of the loans. You can't benefit from access to finance if you are not registered.
Well, Mr. Mbunkur, what impact does limited financing have on job creation and economic growth?
I think the mathematics is simple. The mathematics is simple. If there's no financing, there is no growth. And if there's no growth, then we don't have the jobs. So imagine the shop owner in Bamenda who wants to open a new branch and does not have finances. If this shop owner has finances and opens this new branch, he got to employ people and he will grow. Imagine the mechanic in Douala who wants to expand and have his garage bigger. If he does this, he will be able to employ more people. So if there is no finances, there is no growth. And if there's no growth, there are no jobs.
No jobs.
So it's a simple mathematics.
Exactly. Existing government support and guarantee schemes, I hope that is okay,
yes.
effective enough?
Yeah, there are I think the intentions are good. There are quite a number of programs. The other day, I was part of a team of the intent that we were evaluating the transfer agree. We were talking about the SECAL project, and we were talking about the SafeNet. There are many government projects with very good intentions, but the execution of these projects got much to be improved upon.
Yes.
When you look at this program, firstly, most of the beneficiaries are not even informed. As a coach working with small businesses, most of these programs come, and sometime on the last day, the government agencies are calling me that nobody has applied. Can you try to get this information to them? So most of the beneficiaries are usually not even informed. And even when they are informed, the paperwork is usually too much for the kind of small businesses that are expected to benefit. So yes, the government have very good intentions, very good programs, but there is much that can be improved upon in the execution.
And what role can microfinance institutions and fintech play in closing, closing the financing gap?
Yeah, these two institutions, the microfinances and fintech, they are one of the things that give me a lot of hope for when I look at small businesses. It gives me a lot of hope for them.
Yes.
Because one, microfinances understand the small businesses a little more than the commercial banks, and they are able to provide short-term loans. They are able to have customized packages that are a little bit more accessible for the small businesses than the commercial bank. Exactly. So in this way, if you go around, you see that most of the small businesses that are able to access any kind of finance is mostly from the microfinances. But with the fintech, they have been able to bring technology, and with this technology, they have expanded the reach, because at first, so many small businesses were eluded from the schemes. But the fintech has been able to reach these small businesses. And moreover, the fintechs have been able to solve the problem of asymmetry of information, because they can keep track of transactions. And we already see that these transactions, some of the telcos are already using history of transactions to provide loans. So these are great opportunities that they are bringing, and is giving a lot of hope that eventually the gap of access to finance will be getting smaller and smaller by the day.
Let me ask you 2 or 3 last questions. How important is financial literacy in improve SMEs? Yes, access to credit.
Yeah, financial literacy is very important, because when the promoters of these businesses, the managers, if they are financially literate, they are able to keep books. They are able to understand even the financing options, whether they should go for loan, equity, and what kind of options they are able to understand, and they are able to prepare the kind of statements that are often needed to be able to provide them assistance and participate in the discussion table if their financing is good. So I think financial literacy is so important. Because if small businesses can have the right financial literacy, also in managing the money, because there's another thing that when this money is given, how it's managed, how the cash flow, the projections are managed is an issue. So financial literacy helps them to manage, even when they are able to access this money, and in that way they are more credible and they can be given money again.
Très bien. Alors, quelles mesures concrètes aujourd'hui les décideurs ou les différents États, notamment le Cameroun, devraient-ils prendre pour rendre le financement plus inclusif, justement, pour les petites et moyennes entreprises?
Yeah, there are many things I would say. I think a lot has been focused on loans, trying to make loans accessible for small businesses. But I think loans may not be the best financing option, especially for early startups. We need to be able to build the ability for these small businesses to access capital. So in this way, I'm talking about the financial market. I want to see more policies to make the financial market more accessible to small businesses. We have stock exchange, for example. How easy it is for a small business to get listed on the stock exchange so that they can raise funds. In Cameroon, I think it's so challenging. Most of the small businesses is too far. They don't understand what happens with the financial market. When I talk of things like mutual funds, we also need policies to make this more accessible, because these are better funding options for small businesses. are not loans, because even if the loans are accessible, the interest and the pressure of paying, and they give monthly payment rates, most of the times the terms are not suitable for small businesses. They want equity. They want people who can invest as investors and be part of them, and they can wait 8 years for them to be profitable to pay. And this can only come from the financial market. So my recommendation will be that more is done. We have the stock exchange, which is in Gabon. It's too far. We need we need to be able to feel the presence of this stock exchange. We need it more accessible. We need mutual funds to be more accessible, and we need policies that will make the creation of the different kinds of funds, venture capital funds, angel investor funds, easier, because there are persons trying to create these funds, but the policies are a little too complicated for them to create funds. So if this happens, I think there will be more small businesses who will be able to access funding easier, and they'll be able to access the kind of funding that can permit them to grow, and not just loans, because loans is quite challenging.
Looking ahead, Mr. Mbunkur, before I let you go, alors, est-ce que vous êtes aujourd'hui optimiste par rapport à l'avenir du financement des PME au Cameroun?
Yes, as I mentioned before, I'm very, very optimistic, especially when I see the fintechs coming into play. I see them coming powerfully. I think they will be able to solve most of the problems. As I mentioned, the asymmetry of information, they are already solving that by keeping track. And they are bringing other means outside collateral to finance businesses and individuals. We already see today some of them are giving loans just by looking at your transactions, your past history, and they are already giving loans. I think this makes me to be very optimistic about the future. I think there is a bright future ahead as far as access to finance for SMEs is concerned.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Laye Mbunkur, for your intervention on this news.
Thank you.
Je rappelle que vous êtes PDG de BlueMOON Limited, and hope that we will have you for another news, other explications and everything.
It will be my honor.
Dans la suite de ce journal, et depuis lundi, le Mali